Many so-called liberals are actually politically authoritarian and socially libertine. This is something I noticed from watching the sociopolitics going on in the United States of America, some other places in the West as well, but there's this term liberal. And then you have some people who are calling themselves classical liberals, and I have a bit of an issue with people take a word and make the people who were using the word initially have to add caveats to it or changes to it. It's like, no, the current people are actually regressives. They're actually neo-fascists for the actual actions that they take. These are people that want massive government involvement into certain places to do things to certain people that they want done. And then they personally want ability to do pretty much anything that makes them feel any sort of way without any censure or any even opinions from people. Someone responded to this and said they're totalitarian rather than authoritarian. Leaders of the regressives could be totalitarian, but the average regressive is not. Here's a definition of authoritarian. Noun, in government, authoritarianism denotes any political system that concentrates power in the hands of a leader or a small elite that is not constitutionally responsible to the body of the people. What does the average regressive think about the Constitution, or that United States of America is a republic rather than a democracy? Now on to Britannica for more. Totalitarianism, form of government that theoretically permits no individual freedom and that seeks to subordinate all aspects of individual life to the authority of the state. Italian dictator Benito Mussolini coined the term totalitario in the early 1920s to characterize the new fascist state of Italy, which he further described as all within the state, none outside the state, none against the state. By the beginning of World War II, totalitarian had become synonymous with absolute and oppressive single-party government. Other modern examples of totalitarian states include the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin, Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler, the People's Republic of China under Mao Zedong, and North Korea under the Kim dynasty. If totalitarianism is as bad as some claim it is, why are some of these leaders treated in certain ways and others get a bit of a pass? So what is the difference between totalitarianism and authoritarianism? Both forms of government discourage individual freedom of thought and action. Totalitarianism attempts to do this by asserting total control over the lives of citizens, whereas authoritarianism prefers the blind submission of its citizens to authority. Now this is a part where I was saying that's the difference, at least in these definitions of the terms, because the regressives don't want the government to control their libertine tendencies. Continuing the differences. While totalitarian states tend to have a highly developed guiding ideology, authoritarian states usually do not. Now this is another thing. Ask a typical regressive, what exactly is guiding you? And they don't really have reasons to the things that they do. It's more feels and things that it's libertine in that sense. Totalitarian states suppress traditional social organizations, whereas authoritarian states will tolerate some social organizations based on traditional or special interests. The person who objected is more traditional than I am, so maybe they personally feel that their traditions are more under attack, so imagine it to be totalitarian. Unlike totalitarian states, authoritarian states lack the power to mobilize the entire population in pursuit of national goals, and any actions taken by the state are usually within relatively predictable limits. Now this is important. They're not popular. They need a small group of people to push forward what they're doing, and what they're doing is relatively predictable. Infiltrate certain places and certain spaces, set up a victim, say we need representation, we need XYZ in order to change this thing in the past, and then there you go. Rinse and repeat. What do you think?